Sir, there's a lot of misinformation out there and mischaracterization of President Trump and how he feels about the Vietnam veterans. Can you set the record straight on President Trump and what he did for our Vietnam veterans when he was the president?
One of the most important things he did was sign and then we implemented the Blue Water Navy Act, which provided benefits for veterans who were in the Blue Water Navy who had been exposed to Agent Orange, right? And gotten diseases and disabilities from that. So let me explain. You remember that Agent Orange was sprayed on the ground in Vietnam in 69 and 70, right? So if you were on the land, you could have gotten some cancer. Later, we realized it could have been affected the service members who were in the brown water ships inside Vietnam. But it took a while to figure out if the toxins could affect those folks in the Navy up to 13 miles off the shore of Vietnam. In June of 2019, President Trump signed the law which promised benefits to those veterans who had been in the Navy beginning on January 1st, 2020. The law was immediately stayed, which means it gave VA time to figure out how to award those benefits. And this is really important because if you're going to promise benefits, you actually got to deliver them, or else that causes a trust problem. So, for the 6 months leading up to it at the Veterans Benefits Administration, we spent a lot of time figuring out how to get people's naval records, figure out where they were off the shore of Vietnam, how they would get benefits, and how they would be administered. So the 6 months really did matter. And what's particularly important in this discussion of how President Trump helped Vietnam veterans is we began awarding benefits exactly on January 1st, 2020. I actually called the first person ever to get a Blue Water Navy benefit personally and
Oh,
told him he had gotten benefits. And what's really cool about this, Tommy, is VBA has an office in Manila in the Philippines. It's actually January 1st in Manila on noontime, December 31st in Washington, D.C. On December 31st is when I called him because the law said just begin at midnight. So we actually began a little bit earlier delivering these benefits. So it's a really good story of a law gets passed to help the Vietnam veterans. It gets administered, started exactly on time, and folks began to receive the benefits from exposure to Agent Orange exactly as President Trump promised. And again, this had been something that folks have been petitioning for a long time, and it was done under President Trump.
well, I like that you and President Trump passed and then implemented the law, but I love the story, sir, that veterans had waited so long. You started early. Way to go.